Hi there! Almost all of us are mad about extra pounds that we put on from time to time, but this situation takes place not in humans, but in the animal world too. Let's have a look at the fattest animals that you have ever seen. Often people seize the lack of love with sweets, and this happens with animals. This female orangutan named Ocean lived in a human family as a pet in South Africa. And, apparently, her owners did not have enough time for her. They tried to compensate for this with sweets. Ocean quickly gained weight in 220 pounds. Fortunately, Ocean is now under the supervision of zoo workers in the UK in the city of Dorset, and they do not allow her to consume harmful sweets. Ocean follows a strict diet and exercise to lose weight. As soon as she loses weight and becomes fit again, she will be immediately introduced to her potential mate and hope to start a new family. The Vienna-based, hairless cat named Amsterdam looks more like a Buddha than a cat, all because of his position in which he likes to sit, and of course, because of his belly. Its weight is more than 16 pounds. This cat is 6 years old, and he's not at all embarrassed by his shape. He feels absolutely confident, both without fur and with a big belly, a real example of the positive attitude. Well, the main thing is that he would be comfortable, and the weight would not harm his health. A cute but very large 12-year-old Labrador named Alfie from Britain. He was rescued from an old owner who suffered from dementia and constantly forgot that he had already fed his dog. Thus, the dog had constant access to food, and he began to weigh 3 times more than an ordinary Labrador. When the rescuers from the RSPCA arrived, they saw a dog that could hardly walk. It took 4 people to help the Labrador stand up. When Alfie entered the animal center, he weighed 165 pounds. But he's on the mend and now weighs 110 pounds. His motivation for training was his favorite toy, for which he is always happy to run. Seals are the kind of animals that always seem plump due to their special body structure. To be cute, seals don't even need a waist. On the contrary, the wider, the prettier. This seal is so fat that it's difficult to imagine how he moves. It's not surprising because he loves to eat fish very much. For the sake of the fish, he's ready to carry out various commands that allow him to keep himself in shape at least a little. For the sake of a tasty fish, he's ready to do almost anything. For instance, move his paw and shake his head. A good incentive for this seal. And this poor Dachshund had not only to follow a diet, but also to lie on the surgical table. The owner of this Dachshund was old and ill, and fed him too much. The dog weighed 77 pounds. He was too fat for a treadmill, and he didn't want to follow a vegetable diet. Then experts began to use techniques that slowed down the process of his eating, and in 8 months, the dog managed to lose weight up to 40 pounds. But there was a lot of saggy skin that could not go away on its own. It was decided to remove the excess skin, and after the operation, the pet began to weigh more than 80 pounds. Fortunately, and to the surprise of the doctors, the dog quickly began to recover from the surgical interventions. This monkey is a great example of what junk food can bring. He was nicknamed Uncle Fat for his obesity. Uncle Fat weighs about 57 pounds. That's 3 times the size of your average monkey. Uncle Fat gained weight when it started eating junk food abandoned by tourists in Thailand. Due to such poor nutrition, he developed a fat mass, which is already becoming a kind of benign tumor. To avoid this, Uncle Fat was put on a strict diet. Hopefully Uncle Fat doesn't go off the diet and start eating junk food again. Amir Tigers from the Harbin Zoo in northeast China became literally internet stars when they gained fat mass for winter. The animals looked so fat, what caused concern among animal rights activists. Animal advocates were worried if these fat tigers were sick. Fortunately, according to zoo workers, such a weight in the case of these tigers is not at all dangerous. The thing is that tigers are specially fattened for the winter season, so that it would be easier for them to survive the cold, and by the spring, the tigers should return to their normal physical condition. A fat raccoon named Tyoma from the Russian city of Kemerovo became popular first on Instagram, and then even the New York Post wrote about him. Tyoma loves to eat deliciously. This is evidenced by its large weight. The raccoon weighs as much as 35 pounds, but an active lifestyle is also not alien to him. Tyoma, like all raccoons, loves to be mischievous and naughty. His tricks at home cannot be counted. He also loves to slide on his belly on the floor. But don't worry, he can walk perfectly, and his tummy does not pull him down. A rabbit named Ralph has already been recognized as the largest rabbit, but this title was passed for some time to another representative of the species, the Darius rabbit. Ralph was of course upset and decided to regain the crown. And after a little effort and gaining weight, Ralph again became the largest Easter bunny on the planet, and he does not intend to share his title with anyone else. Keeping fit is very important for wildlife, especially for those who are potential predators' prey. It has become difficult for Israeli hedgehogs to defend themselves from attacks, as they have become so obese that they can no longer curl up into a ball. It turned out that the hedgehogs were eating cat food, which was put out on the street for stray cats. Such food did not go well for the thorny animals. Local residents realized that the hedgehogs had become too fat and could suffer in the wild. So they decided to give them to the Ramat Gan Zoo near Tel Aviv. One of these hedgehogs, named Sherman, turned out to weigh as much as 3.5 pounds. Almost double the standard size of a hedgehog. Now Sherman and his friends have a long way to go to their ideal body through diet and exercise. Wow, this must be the overweight master Splinter, the Ninja Turtle sensei. Otherwise, how can you explain the fact that he lives in the sewers and is stuck in this hatch? Sensei gave up his martial arts training a bit and got hooked on the 4-cheese pizza. To free him, people had to call rescuers. 8 rescuers tried to free the chubby friend for almost half an hour. Fortunately, everything went well, and Splinter was released back down to the drain to eat 4-cheese pizza. Sometimes a lot of weight gain is simply related to the time of year, like this bear female named Holly. She becomes very obese every year at the beginning of autumn, but then gradually returns to her usual state. And also at this time of year, her coat becomes darker. Holly was first noticed in the year 2000 at Brook Falls, and since then, she has given birth to several cubs and can be confidently called a very experienced mother. She had both an easy mothering experience and a difficult one. Once she was spotted with a cub that had a pronounced limp, but she cared for him so tenderly that by the end of the summer, his paw got healed. A pig named Maybelle was so fat that she could not stand on her own and could hardly see anything due to her swollen eyes. At her age, the weight should be 100 to 110 pounds, and Maybelle weighed 200 pounds. Her past owner was an extremely irresponsible person and recklessly fed her without care. Unsurprisingly, he received an animal cruelty charge, and Maybelle ended up in a shelter. At the shelter, she went on a diet and started exercising and literally began to bloom. So far, she has lost 25 pounds, but she has already been adopted by a good couple of people with whom she will continue her training and diet further. It turns out that even the feathered representatives of the fauna can become very stout. This kookaburra bird is just such an example. She was too fond of the sausages that people fed her in Sydney, and the kookaburra gained so much excess weight that she couldn't even fly. But this bird was lucky, she was not left in trouble. Now the bird has a personal trainer who trains her according to an individual program. And also she is given a neck massage and of course a special diet. The great white shark itself is a large marine animal, and this shark is probably the largest of them all. She was spotted by divers off the coast of Oahu in Hawaii early last year. The shark weighs about 2.5 tons and is approximately 20 feet long, although the shark also might be pregnant due to the fact she is very wide. According to rough estimates of experts, this shark is more than 50 years old. It bears similar markings to Deep Blue, the largest great white shark on record. That's all for now, but if you want to know a lot about animal and human relationships, go to Animal Like People channel. You're sure to find something interesting. See you!